Okay, let me just get these levels right. Okay, I'm recording from now on.
Okay.
What's your name?
My name is Aika.
Aika.
Yeah.
Aika, tell us where we are.
We are in East London, one of the most popular market of London, I think, or Britain probably.
You're selling it.
Yeah, I am selling it. I work here, so it has to work. And it's Sunday. It's not raining, and people are happy. So yeah, that's where we are, on Broadway Market.
Broadway Market. Now, just before we started recording, you were telling me that this is a good market to work in with a stall because it's actually cheaper than other markets in terms of the rent.
Yes. So
and I find that interesting because it's also like a hipster area where lots of people come with money. So to me, this seems like a moneyed market, but this is a cheap market.
it is. The rent has always been the most affordable rent. I've been trading at different markets for 12 years. This is the cheapest market I've been to, apart from like really small like school markets or something like that. But like professionally, for the amount of people it generates, for the amount of traders it has, this is the most successful market in that sense. So cheap rent, diverse community, engaging people from different backgrounds, like as I said, like people who work on the market and who put the stalls up will be ex-convicts or people who fell out of the system, or so it has responsibility
So there's some
for
kind
the
of social
community.
responsibility within the market system.
That's it. Yeah.
And it's actually built in. They want to do that.
That's it. Yeah, it is for the community. It's with the community, for the community. They don't get everything right, of course, but for example, they have one in Hoxton where they get young people to work with the Hackney Council and have a stall selling their products, and they're young kids from the age of 12 to 18.
That sounds cool.
They will have a stall to learn what it's like to run an enterprise, to start your own business, and they will support them and provide them with a free market stall, and they can try it out and actually have first time experience of actually selling their product. And that's something it's done by the council. No private company doing that. There is no money in it. So that's why it's quite...
I didn't realise the councils did things like that. I thought the council just wanted profit, because we hear all the time that councils are short of cash, they try and squeeze everything, they cut the things they can't afford. But this is actually... Yeah, it's interesting what you're saying. Because I also have thought, over years of seeing this street, I've always thought there was a bit of conflict between the people who live locally in the high-rise blocks near us and this market, because it's changed so much socially over the last decade or so, and it's become richer, and the people who come here don't live here, but they come here to spend their money. And so I just thought the local people might resent this market.
I'm sure there is some resentment.
Because it's not for them.
There is some resentment, and you do feel excluded from it because, prices are astronomical. So if you want to eat well and live well and, have this kind of lifestyle when people just spending money all the time and you cannot be part of it, then you do feel resentful because that's not for me. I cannot afford it. Saying that, because this is generating money, Hackney Council can put, like, for example, refurbish the Lido. It was never refurbished till actually the gentrification has happened. So you can't have both ways. So to generate money, you have to have something coming in to refurbish those public places. So I think it's balance, isn't it? It's how do we do it right? It's difficult. Like you're saying, like, oh, you didn't know that Hackney Council does it, because they're not really good at it. They're not good at it at kind of, telling people.
Yeah.
They're not good at marketing. They're not good at advertising. They're not good at branding. Those things they lack. But that's all councils, I think. And it's something they have to catch up with. And I think in general, it's public services. We just don't put probably the right expertise in a place because it may be expensive. I don't know why it doesn't work, but I wish there were some people who say like, do it like this and it will be better, but it hasn't happened yet.
You could go and advise them.
Maybe it should be me. Yeah, I mean, it has its own problems. For example, I do think with the market, to make it interesting, you also need to make sure that you select the right traders. What makes a successful market? It's when there is something really wonderful there to see. Not bragging about my business as such, but if it's handmade, it's unique, I cannot get it anywhere else. Then it's a destination. But if it's a market just for people to wander around and they don't want to buy anything because there is nothing to buy, it's not interesting, it's boring, then it becomes like, no, it's like everywhere else. So I think that element they are not getting right as well. Yeah, they're going into like, let's generate money rather thinking like, let's get wonderful, independent, creative traders, and it has to be like handpicked.
You are obviously someone who's thought deeply about this. This is not the only market you work at. Do you do other markets?
I do other markets across London. I go to one in South London. My brick and mortar is in North London, and sometimes I do markets there, like Alexandra Palace, Hampstead Heath.
Interesting. So you know the whole market scene across different areas of London, north, east, west, south. Tell us about those areas versus these areas. Because London is such a mix. In every area you get rich, middle, poor in terms of social, economics. And each market, you could probably have this kind of market in any area in London, or is this specific to here? Like the other markets you go to, do they all have a distinctive character, which is obviously couldn't be put somewhere else?
I think the Broadway market itself, before it had, what it is now, before it was serving local people. Unfortunately, for example, people like who were selling like vegetables, there were like 3 or 4 vegetable stalls. They packed up and left because now local people don't come because it has become too popular.
Right. So your everyday goods are not sold here. It's not that kind of market. Right. Okay. That's interesting. Okay.
There are, but then there isn't that big variety anymore because it's not. It's too many people who are not buying the everyday goods.
Yeah.
The people are just coming to wander around and look cool, have their coffee,
yes,
but not really the families who actually need the basic things.
Yeah. So they have to go somewhere other than the market, which is right on their doorstep.
Yeah, so people will go to the schoolyard now instead, where it's
and that's
more
another
low-key.
market around the corner.
Yes, and the rent is cheaper there.
Okay.
So therefore, I don't need to mark up much.
Yeah.
My expenses are lower, so I'll just go there and I'll bake my little goods and I'll sell it to my school community, my neighbors. So they kind of separate themselves from the mainstream market and they just go somewhere smaller because I would like to cater for my community.
Yeah.
And that's a whole mix.
It's a hard thing though, because what you're talking about is you can't do both.
You can't.
You can't sell goods cheaply to the local community, but have a markup for the visitors with more money, because it just wouldn't work on one stall, because it would be discrimination. So you either go for one or the other.
But saying that, before Broadway market, like say 5 years ago, it did both. It had really like people will come tourists, but very kind of a bit more, done their research or the friends recommended them. So it would be like a smaller niche of tourists coming in. They were just a bit more aware, and they would search out this really independent, smaller markets, and they're cool enough but not too mainstream. Nobody goes to Camden who live in London. Why I go to Camden, right?
Tourists go to Camden.
Only tourists go to Camden. Where Broadway market was catering for local people and a bit of tourists, but kind of a more like family tourists. Like somebody visiting from France, my friend's saying, let's go to my local market.
Yeah.
And that's kind of been lost, I think. So those people are not coming. So this is kind of overtaking too many tourists and not enough local people. And where like other markets, for example, where I go like South London market, because it's right by the station, so you get this random people passing by, so it's important for for market to be successful, that it's next to the transport links, easy to get to. So you'll get somebody who's just passing by, so random person, and you get the local person coming and buying their cheese and bread and like, oh, I'll get a gift as well. Something like that.
So that's a mix. Tell me about the North London market, Ali Pali.
Ali Pali, no tourists at all.
Okay.
And
Because it's too far away.
it's too far away. There is no transport links. So when I go there, I'm mainly serving local community, but local community don't need clothes every week.
Yeah.
So therefore, I don't do it very often.
Yeah.
I will go on special occasions. Say, for example, they're putting up something with music and there is some event happening, so I might catch wider audience, then I'll go. Otherwise, I don't go, because my brick and mortar shop where we make everything with my business partner is in North London, and they know about me, so they can turn up and get their gear there.
Ah, right. So in each place you go, you know there's going to be a different audience, a different market. You need to make money. You've mentioned a bricks and mortar shop. You've mentioned making things. So just tell us about the stall that we're standing beside. There's lots of colour and there's lots of clothes.
So I used to live just around the corner from Broadway Market.
Okay.
And being a local resident, I was like, I'm going to go to my local market and set up a stall. My business partner was in kids' clothing business before, so we said, okay, let's try it. I had a kid, perfect timing, let's try things out. I go to baby groups, I go to mom groups, I go to nursery, and you meet local people.
Was that kind
Families.
of was that like market research for you, or was that just living?
It's just living.
Just living.
It's just living, and it's all of a sudden when people just stop and say like, "Wow, your child dressed so lovely. Where did you get it?" And you
So
say
your
like,
kid wore all of the bright, beautiful colours that you've got in the store.
"Yes, my children. I have 2 kids, and they grew up wearing these things. They still do. Luckily, they still do.
Right.
Like, yeah. Luckily, they don't want mainstream, mass-produced clothes.
They haven't suddenly, when they've become teenagers, they haven't suddenly gone grey and black and white. Just simple, straight, toned down colours. They want to keep it vibrant.
No, my oldest daughter, the business is going to be 13 years in May.
Okay.
And she's going to be 13. So I started when she was born, the business,
Great.
with my business
Every
partner.
age of hers marks the age of the business.
That's right. That's right. So her being in secondary school, I said to my business partner, she wants a black oversized hoodie. Black. And that's when you go, oh no, oh no. But because we make the clothing, we said, okay, we'll make the black hoodie for her. Because I am still catering for the same crowd of people who I was serving 13 years ago. I still have those customers coming in and they say, oh, you've got that, oh, you got it in black. So essentially, my child is my research. My child is the one who gives me feedback all the time. And I'm updating what's currently, fashionable for younger audiences.
So when you made that black hoodie, did you put colourful cuffs on it, or did you put
Oh,
something?
100%. It can't look like just normal black hoodie. My business partner said, oh, let's put a really nice lining inside it to make it stand out.
So the hoodie looks different or something?
100%. No point making something just like you look like everybody else. So luckily there is an element of nice, as you said, colorful cuffs or hood line with the pattern inside, so it's not obvious, but you see it. So, yeah.
You mentioned the fact that people come back, there's a loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
This stall is aimed at kids. It's, it's high-end prices. It's special handmade gear. This is probably somewhere that people come once in a while, but you still... you remember that I've got a little daughter, so you've got good memory.
100%. I think that helped. It helps. It's
that
like
personal touch of like, I remember your kid.
I am hoping that we are kind of on a turning point of people wanting more of a experience rather than just buying for sake of buying. And it's always been that way with the stall particularly. Like my business partner would say to me, it's like, how can you remember what they bought last time? Mm-hmm. I remember what they bought last time because I care. Because it's meaningful to me. Because we made it. We bought the fabric. We cut the fabric. We dragged the fabric to the workshop. We sewn the fabric. I brought the fabric, I brought the product here, and I met this person, and he brought his mom to show off all these lovely things, and they bought something. Of course I'm going to remember. There is a journey, and it's not the destination or just cash in. No, it's about actually the journey, and every time you see a child wearing what we made, and it's two of us and hasn't changed, two people, two women, still independent, still living off our craft, I think it's an achievement, considering you are in London, where the cost of living is astronomical. So, yeah, I'm proud to say that I'm still doing the same thing. It's not about growing like, they say like, oh, what's the next thing? How are you gonna get bigger? Well, that's enough, isn't it? I can feed my child, I can take them on holiday, maybe it's camping, doesn't matter. I have good quality of life. Why do I need more? So I think, my business partner said, why are you saying to them, don't buy 4 pairs, just buy 2, you're going to kill our business? Because it's about ethics and principle and value to what you believe in. So it's not just business, it's how I live. I don't buy mass-produced clothes. I go to charity shops. I will fix my children's clothes and I'll give to somebody who will appreciate my brand. I don't give it to any person. I'll give it to somebody who will appreciate it. But I'll fix it up so it has life in it. So it is about the value of the business. And I think people like that and people come back to that. So it is on a higher end, the pricing, but I live in London, I'm making it in London, and I use good quality material to start off with. And once they know the story, they're willing to buy that special thing, and it might be just 1 pair, but it's a special pair. Or remember we got it from Aika. Or remember we went to the shop and we got it there. Or, and we make things to order as well. So when people pick and choose, and then we'll make it as well. So, yeah, I think it's not just a product, it's a story behind it. And it's, and I think when you really invested in it in that way, I think, it comes across. It's not just talking, it's actually how I live. So, yeah, and that's why it works, I think.
When you started 13 years ago, Aika, did you have all of this set out? Was there a business plan? Were you very methodical? Is this something that's evolved? I mean, tell us about that beginning. You said you set up the business, you had a business partner, you got together and you started working it out. First of all, why did you set up the business in the beginning?
So I don't know, it wasn't midlife crisis as such, but I was doing a tailoring course. And I knew I wanted to do something with my hands, like being in front of the screen, working on your own, that kind of like sitting down all the time, that wasn't something I wanted to do. I wanted to do something where I work with people because I have good people skills, I think. I am quite, I like making things. So I thought I got to, do something different. So because I just graduated from an engineering course and I came to this country and I wanted to do masters in engineering. But when I actually removed myself from my family and you kind of start reflecting on your life, you realize, actually, that's not what I want to do. You step away and you look at your life. And
going in one direction and then suddenly coming to an understanding that that's not the direction.
Yeah.
That must have been interesting.
Yeah,
Was it destabilizing or was it actually quite energizing? And you're like, I could do something else. Because I would imagine if you're training and you've done a degree and engineering is a safe thing to do, you can travel the world with engineering, I'm assuming. You can go many directions. You're stepping away from safety.
It is, yeah. It is so much so. And it's like, I don't know, it was scary. It was destabilizing. I wouldn't say it was, and I coming from an Asian background where you got to be stable and secure. And I'm going abroad. And this is what you're going to be doing.
So at the same time as you moved abroad here, you also changed direction. 2 things at once.
2 things at once, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's brave.
It is brave, I think. And I look at myself like I was 22 when I came to this country. I wasn't fluent in English. And I was just kind of, let me try something different. So I think stepping away from something and reflecting on things is really handy, useful. I think everybody should do it.
You had time to reflect. You did the tailoring course. You then what took you to setting up a business rather than just working for a salary? Like, that's the easy thing to do, work for a salary.
Yeah.
Which most of the people in this market, as we look around, make a salary.
Yeah.
They don't do their own businesses.
I think I was very fortunate enough to meet my business partner who's done it before. If it wasn't for my business partner, I wouldn't be where I am now. She done it before. She did it herself somewhere else.
Yeah.
She was doing it abroad.
Yeah.
She's British, but she did it in America.
Right.
So she did it before. She had all the, what do you call it, blueprint in place already. She had sewing machines. She had few fabrics in stock. She had expertise.
So not just the experience, but she also had the technical stuff.
100%. So the first thing I did
And
when
was
I
she
was...
a friend of yours?
Yeah, she was my best friend's mum.
Best friends. I just couldn't get
Yeah.
in that link. Right. So it was like circumstance. You just happened to know her.
Yes.
You got chatting.
Yeah.
And then you started to chat, and they're like, oh.
It was like I was finishing my tailoring course and I was finishing my tailoring course and she said to me, she invited me for Sunday roast. And she was like, oh, if you need any fabric, I have a lot of fabric you can take because you're a student. I presume you need fabric if you're doing tailoring course. And I was making a jacket and I wanted a silk lining inside, bright, colorful, stripy. And I said, like, oh, I like something colorful. And she was like, oh, you like colorful things? I was like, yeah, I like colorful things. So it was kind of,
So color was actually what brought you together creatively. It's like we both enjoy the same
colorful.
kind of material.
So yeah, we have very similar tastes. I think we're kind of on the same wavelengths when it comes to it. So I was struggling to finish few things. I didn't have the expertise, and she said, if you need help with sewing, I can help you with sewing as well. So I said, oh, sure. I have a few questions. When can I come? And she was like, you can come tomorrow. I said, sure, I'll be here at 8 o'clock next morning. I'm on at her doorstep at 8 o'clock, and she's in her dressing gown saying, like, that early? And say, I'm here. And
I'm keen.
I'm keen, I'm here,
this.
I'm in this. I want to do this. So she showed me a few things. I'm finishing my tailoring course, and at the same time, I'm becoming pregnant with my first child. So it's all happening at the same time.
That's a lot of creativity at the same time. Creating life, creating colors, creating everything.
Yes.
Wow.
And
exciting.
And my partner is of Black heritage, and Penny, that's my business partner, loves Ghana, and I've been to Ghana, and we love the fabric in Ghana. It's so colorful.
Of course, there's a lot of colorful fabric that comes out of the West African scene. Yeah, lots of sharp dressing.
That's it.
Lots of big colors.
Big colors,
bold,
big personalities, loud, colorful, dynamic, vibrant. All those things I think we lack in Western world, in the sense that it's all muted, it's very calm, it's very controlled to a certain extent.
What about the fabrics from where you grew up? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Kyrgyzstan.
Okay.
We do more wool because it's very cold in the winter, so it's not very colorful. It's more woolen wintry clothes, felt, a lot of felt. So nice.
So it wasn't that you grew up surrounded by color, but you grew up in a country that having good material is important for a practical thing.
Yeah, and it's natural things, natural fabrics. And there was color because in the summer it's really hot. So color is like, you have a mountain full of tulips. I just have this memory of me being a really young girl and going up the mountain, and it's just whole mountain covered with tulips, red tulips. So it's a lot of color in the summer, and it's very muted in the winter. But it's always in the summer you wear cotton and silk because it keeps you cool, and in the winter you wear wool. So I grew up with natural fabrics all my life. And so color was important. Color was always there. But I think it's just who you are as well as a personality. I am a kind of bubbly and, colorful person, I believe so. So it kind of clicked with my business partner, and then because I was pregnant with my daughter, I said, let's start this because I can't do a lot, but we could experiment and sew and try a few things, and that's what we did. And because we had things in place already, sewing machine, few fabrics, patterns, and most importantly, my business partner's expertise, because she did it before.
Does she also stand on this stall and do this, or are you the people person and she's the business brains?
I think, no, I am very good at sales. So, like in any business, you got to use your strength. I'm good at remembering people's names. I have very good personal skills, I think, people skills. So, and also having a child and meeting young families, obviously you have a lot in common.
Yeah.
And I use...
Parents do talk to each other in their own language. As soon
That's
as you
it.
know somebody else is a parent, it's like, yeah, we're on the same wavelength. We know what's going on.
Yeah, that's it. And, you talk about practical things, day-to-day things, and, so... And that's kind of separated us. And also because I am so much younger than her, standing on a market for 12 hours sometimes, from, on your feet, it's physical, it's hard, it's not easy. So you have to be like clear separation. She did few markets before when I was having a baby, but majority of the time it's me.
What do you think about when you're standing on this stall?
Yeah.
Color, you're surrounded by colour. There's crowds of people walking past, clutching coffee cups, looking at each other and wondering if they're cool or the other people are cool. It's that kind of scene, isn't it? It's kind of like a market to be seen. What do you think about it?
Oh, it has changed a lot, and I think, like for me, I do feel like we are in this kind of a crossroads at the moment. After doing a market, there is also debriefing with my business partner.
Okay.
How did the day go?
Okay.
What happened? And I always say, like, oh my God, it's changing so much. And we have this conversation about...
So it's not just numbers. It's not like, how much did we make? End of conversation.
No.
It's a bigger conversation.
It's a bigger conversation. What kind of crowd coming in? What are they looking for? What do they want? You're always researching. It's like as people walking by and I'm looking, oh, this boy has nice... check trousers and a bit looser. Maybe I should make them a bit looser. You're always kind of looking and watching. We're not kind of separated from it. No, we are constantly having conversation. My current conversation with her that we need to maybe rebrand a little bit. No, it's the same brand, but kind of make myself a bit, while I stand here, more visible. How do I make myself visible? So today I spoke to a neighbor who was coming down just next door from this apartment, and he's coming down and he says his name is Vincent, and he works in branding and marketing.
Right.
And for big brands like Adidas and Nike, all this.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it's big brands. And he said like, wow, you make this? He's like, how would I know that you make it? I said, like, oh, it says there. He goes like, no, you need to shout about it. You need to be vocal about it. You need to be visual about it. You are not, this is not enough. He said, this is beautiful. But if I knew that it was made by you, I would be probably stopping a little bit longer. Because for me, it's like, oh, it's African fabric. Oh, it probably produced somewhere else, and I'm walking past it. And he lived here for 4 years. He never stopped once at my store. And he lived here for 4 years. He doesn't have children. He has no reason to stop at my store.
Yeah, because it sells kids' clothes.
Yes, because I'm selling kids' clothes.
It is the most colourful stall on the market.
It is, but it doesn't say that. Yeah, it's most colourful. But people, for some reason, I think we have a problem as a society. We're not valuing things which are actually important. What's important? Craft is important. Handmade is important. Independent is important. Small businesses are important. Stop corporations. Stop giving your money to corporations. Stop shopping in Amazon. Think how you spend your money, because that's the only power you have. Your money, how you spend, that's the only power you have. And I'm not talking about my product, I'm talking about in general. If we actually cared how we spend and what we eat, what we wear a bit more, I think it would be a better place.
Somebody's looking at your clothes. I'm going to stand to one side while you chat to them.
Okay. Our trousers are reversible. They designed
Oh wow, somebody's blow torching some food over the way. Very dramatic. I like that. Bit of drama. Maybe that's what you should do with your clothes. Have a blowtorch or something. I don't know.
No.
So
I started, Dave, when I started trading like on the markets, my business partner, she said like, oh, why don't you just, why don't we try out different ones? So I went to Spitalfield Market because I was living in East London. So I went to Spitalfield Market, but it's quite touristy. But because it was small, as a business we were small, I would put the car seat, my baby, my sewing machine, just like a, really basic, rudimentary one. And I would put my sewing machine and few trousers, and I will be sewing while selling. Yeah, please. While I was selling. So people would see me sewing and stop and say,
That's brilliant.
yeah,
I love that.
yeah, and people say, look, why don't you bring your sewing machine again? The thing is, you can't really sew much. It was just to show that it's actually been sewn.
Is that one of the ideas you've got now?
My
Is that too much
idea,
of a hassle?
it is too much of a hassle, and because you cannot sew and they're heavy, it's another thing to carry.
So
it's
that's,
not very
that's
practical.
not your marketing plan.
It's not my marketing.
To make on site.
Well, even when we are setting up the brick and mortar shop, we were thinking of setting up the sewing machine right by the front where the windows are, so people can see. But then my business partner said, no, it's too messy. We have to keep everything tidy. Too much work. We'll have to put right at the back so people don't see the mess.
Also, another thing is, if you've got a bricks and mortar shop, you don't need to do the markets. You could just go online, make your money that way.
Good point, Dave. Loads of people say that to me. Oh, why bother with the markets, right? This is hard work. It's too much. Why bother? We are so tiny that we don't really spend a lot of time, like money in marketing, advertising, packaging, everything what kind of businesses do. That's what the formula is. To be successful, you have to work on the outside. It's not about the content. There's all the other bits, but we are being, kind of a bit of a rebel in that sense, and say like, we don't want to do all of that stuff. We don't want to do packaging. We don't want to push buy. No, part of the market life is actually because you enjoy it. You meet your people, you meet the consumer, you meet the child, you see the child grow, you know what they like. I know the kids who like, the sharks. So it's like, oh yeah, Johnny likes sharks, let's get sharks. Or, Claire's daughter absolutely are obsessed with watermelons. Let's get some watermelons. So you don't just about selling, but it's actually constant feedback from your customers. That's first thing. Second thing is just like, market life is really lovely. Community is nice. Meeting people is lovely. I get my organic groceries, nice cheese. My shopping is done here. And also it's never the same. So I can lock myself in my workshop and just make clothes and sell online and just market everything online, but that's not what drives me. That's really, really boring to me. So if the end game was just making money, it's really, really, I think, that has no purpose. There is no meaning to it. Money comes, money goes. So I don't really, that's not what drives me. That's not what's the purpose of this whole venture.
What is the purpose?
Purpose, as I said, it's how I live it, how I live this life and how I do the business. It's more fun. But sitting and doing it all online is just, I don't enjoy it. I think I'm too old school for that. I'm not that old, but I don't enjoy it. So why should I do something? If I have the choice, if I can make the choice to do things differently, why I can do it differently. I sell online, I sell in the shop, I sell through Instagram, I sell through events, I sell through school fairs, I do festivals.
This is complicated.
It's complicated. It's different every day. That's what it is, and yeah, it's not easy, but I don't consider it to be, oh my God, this is so difficult. I'm very, very, very fortunate because we have the things we have in place which makes it possible to do it. I don't think many businesses could survive like the way I'm doing it with my business partner, but my business partner is, she's not driven by money either because she likes the fact that it always changes and it looks different. But who knows whether we can carry on like that and make a living and still sustain ourselves, because the purpose is it has to be profitable. We all have to live. We all have to make money to survive in this system, so it has to be profitable. So at the moment, I'm just about to stay profitable, but who knows? Economy is changing. Politically, we are not in the right place. Brexit wasn't good for many small businesses, so it's kind of a waiting game. So we'll see. Hopefully, it'll be better. It'll be better. It has to get better because it's pretty bad. Pretty bad. Look, we've got Trump, we've got Farage, we've got Putin. It's really, really terrible what we've got. We've got Brexit. Yeah. We're becoming more insular. We're becoming, anti-immigration, and it's really dire when you start looking at it like that. But before it gets better, has to be bad. I think that's what it is. And I think it's a natural thing. It's really, really, this is not realistic to hope that it's always got to grow. No, life is not like that. If you don't have the lows, you don't know how to appreciate highs. So you got to ride the wave and see and enjoy whatever happens. I am fortunate. I'm healthy. I've got food on the table. I still enjoy what I do. I've got people like you, Dave, coming in and supporting me. So it's okay. Got to look at the bright side. Stay positive. That's what I would say.
So we're seeing so she had all the stuff in storage. So